Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be talking to Diane Hamilton from the Jackson County District Attorney's Office. We're talking about victims' rights. Diane, good to see you again. How are you today?
Hi, good.
So let's talk about victims' rights. First off, what is it you do at the DA's office?
Well, I'm the director of the Victims Assistance Program for the Jackson County DA's office. And so what I do is I manage a staff of 6 advocates, and we help crime victims essentially go through the criminal justice system.
Okay, we'll go into more of the details behind that in a moment. But first, this next week is a very special week.
True, it's Crime Victims' Rights Week, and it starts on the 6th, Sunday, and it goes through the 12th. It's the 30th annual Crime Victims' Rights Week. It was started in 1984 with the advent of the Victims of Crime Act law that was enacted in 1984.
So victims' rights, does every DA's office in the country have something in this? Every DA's office in Oregon have an organization like this?
Yeah, every DA's office in Oregon has a victims assistance program just like ours. Some are a lot smaller than ours. But every DA's office has a victims assistance program, and our job is to assure that victims know their rights.
And we, covering a lot of court trials, we see you in court, we know what you do, but people at home, explain how you help people through this process.
What we do is we contact victims as soon as the district attorney's office decides to file charges in a case, both misdemeanor and felony cases. We contact victims by mail and by phone. We let them know their rights. And one of the things we do is try to elicit information from them about what they'd like to see happen in the case, about any financial loss they might have, and about their needs as we go through the criminal justice process. And then if there are court hearings that come up throughout the case, we have advocates who actually sit through those court hearings with victims and let them know what's going on. And we kind of interpret what the district attorney's doing.
Sure, the legal system can be quite complicated.
Right. So we help the average person understand what's happening with the criminal justice process. And then we're there to answer questions for them or other things. We're more available than the attorneys are.
Okay, very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more in a moment. Stay with us. On 5 again, we're here with Diane Hamilton. We're talking about victims' rights. So Diane, are there certain crimes in particular that victims need help getting through the system?
Really, we help victims with all crimes, both property crimes and person crimes, and everyone handles crime differently. So some people maybe just had their mailbox broken, like a vandalism case, and it's very disturbing to them because they really feel violated by that. And then we help people with all types of crimes, and so obviously there are crimes that are more disturbing than others. We help people all the way from homicide to property crimes. And we just go with what the victim needs from us.
Sure, and everybody is, of course,
everybody reacts differently, but we help victims in domestic violence cases, sexual assault cases, child abuse cases, homicide, and property crimes, identity theft. There's a lot of stuff out there happening.
Absolutely, of course. Okay, so how did a program like this get started, not only here in Jackson County, but beyond?
Well, in 1984, the Victims of Crime Act was enacted on the federal level, and that sent money to all the states to allow them to have victims assistance programs. And so that money was distributed on the state level to the local municipalities. Jackson County received what was a Victims of Crime Act grant that we still receive to this day. And that was startup money for our program. And we started our program, Mr. Huddleston started it in 1984. And we've been going strong ever since with that Victims of Crime Act money. Okay, all right. And so I want to ask you on a personal level, I've seen you in court sitting next to murder victims' mothers. It's incredible. I admire what you do. It's an incredibly difficult job, I would imagine, from the outside looking in. How did you get into this? I have a master's degree in clinical counseling, and so I was a therapist prior to doing this. I've worked with people in trauma, and this position came open. I already worked for Jackson County, and this position came open, and it looked fascinating to me. And so I came over and gave it a try, and it's been a fit for a long, long time now, about a dozen years. I've worked for the DA's office, and just having that opportunity to be with people in a really hard time for them is just such an honor that people let me sit with them in court and go through this difficult time. And so, but there are different district attorneys' offices around the state have victims assistance programs who their directors, some are nurses, some are ex-EMTs, some used to be police officers. So we come from all different disciplines. I myself am a counselor, but we come from all different disciplines, and I just really enjoy being able to be there for those people if they let me do that.
Certainly making a difference. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.